Welcome to the world's greatest minds, where the most successful, impactful, and creative game changers on the planet deliver their hardest-hitting advice in 30 minutes or less. Every guest is specifically handpicked, there's no paid placements allowed, and every conversation is completely authentic and entirely unscripted. Big ideas, raw conversations, and real impact. This is World's Greatest Minds, and the revolution of thought starts now. Welcome back, y'all. I am so excited about this particular guest. He's one of the best friends I've ever made at a mastermind. The guy is what I would consider to be a literal genius, and that's demonstrable. And I'm gonna show you how and why. I've never met a human that has conquered so many diverse industries. In the same decade, he was called the king of cannabis and the king of California real estate. He's been one of the top performing real estate teams in the state of California for many years. At one point, I think he was number one. And then when Zillow and some of the other e-buyers beat him, in my opinion, that doesn't even count because they're cheating. He's the CEO of Best Sac Home Group. He's the co-founder of Reside, which is a coaching platform for agents nationwide. He has 12 years in California real estate, which incidentally is the fifth largest economy in the world. So we're talking about massive, massive, massive numbers. He's placed a restraining order on President Obama. He's had his home raided by 3-letter agencies. He's known as the resilient mofo. And man, just like every single time I run into him, he's doing something that is innovative and I learn from. So I'm so excited for y'all to hear from my buddy, Suneet Agarwal. Suneet, thanks for being here, bro.
Dude, thank you. What a great intro.
Yeah, well,
I'm glad that it's recorded because I'll use it maybe more often.
Here's the thing, man. You're so easy to introduce because the shit that you've done like blows my mind. You know what I mean?
Thank
so
you.
if you don't mind, you've had some ups, but you've had some downs. Give the listeners just the quick version of that roller coaster ride of your entrepreneurial career.
Yeah. So, got out of college, took me 8 years to get a bachelor's. So you do the math. Got out of college, did some sales, got, the only job that was really available that I found was selling mortgages and the refinance boom in the early middle 2000s or early 2000s. I rode
that really well, didn't you?
What's that?
I said you timed that really well, didn't you?
Yeah. Built that business up, top real estate, top mortgage company in town. The market tanked. I said, shit, what am I going to do? Oh, I know how to sell some cannabis. Oh, people have dispensaries now. I'm going to start one. So I started one with like a $40,000 credit card and a couple of sawhorses on a piece of plywood and a lease. And we started a dispensary back when George W. Bush was president. When Obama came into office, the feeling was that it was going to be more relaxed. We were able to lobby multiple cities and really build our business into a real business, which was pretty unheard of at the time. Our employees had worked
marijuana specifically, right?
Yeah,
and weren't you instrumental in getting a lot of legislation passed? Like, you were behind a lot of the lobbying.
Behind a lot of stuff here in Northern California, Sacramento, Stockton. We would just lobby cities. I had a former mayor as a lobbyist and all these different lobbies. So really got me into like the political and business side. And there was a lot of innovation there. Like, how are we going to get a permit when no permit exists and half of a city council or a local governing body hates the idea, right? So we were able to pull through that. Now we're looking at Obama's reelection. They wanted to appear tough on crime. They started threatening forfeiture to the landlords of cannabis businesses. Me and the other top 3 dispensary owners in the state of California, each in one federal district, filed a restraining order against the federal government, and they didn't like that. So we got a federal raid, U.S. Marshals, machine guns, laser sights, towing cars,
Tell me the story you were telling before the pre-roll. You're like, I wake up, there's a guy with a ski mask.
Yeah, but that was not a Fed. That was home invasion.
Well, that was just home invasion. I didn't know that. Dude, so what's happened to you karmically in another life, Suneet?
I don't know, but dude, I also got home invaded twice in 10 years, bro.
Really?
Both over cannabis, yeah.
Oh,
thankfully,
that makes sense. If you're the king of cannabis, a bunch of people are going to go to your house and assume that you got it.
I mean, dude, after that happened, like I had bodyguards.
Yeah.
After my home, and I would roll around with 2 big old armed bodyguards. What kind of life is that?
Yeah, I got a buddy that does that. It's more financially accessible than I thought, at least the way he does it. He pays $45 an hour for these 2 armed guards, and they work in shifts. And so he only has one at a time. but they work in these 12-hour shifts, and that's what he does. And it's like,
Yeah.
I'm like, $45 an hour doesn't feel. Now, did you have like ex SEALs, or what did you go?
No, just thugged out dudes
Yeah.
with a PPO card,
Yeah. That's what this
right?
guy does too. I mean, to be honest, that's kind of all you need, right? It's just you don't want to
Yeah.
be the low-hanging fruit.
So after the raid, the wind was taken out of my sails to reopen anything in the cannabis business. I sat around for 2 years.
But
We
wait,
were
the raid
talking
shuts you down completely.
well, when they seized all the assets,
They
including
took
money.
everything, and there was no recompense even after it was legalized. There's nothing you can do. The government just like took your business and but you avoided charges, right? There wasn't anything they could do
Yeah,
legally.
I mean, so, when I did get raided, the other raids they had done resulted in people with, bunch of cash under their beds and bunch of product under their beds, bunch of, machine guns under their beds. And they come to my house and all you found was a bunch of dogs and
Yeah.
dirty dishes, right? Because our business was legit. So thankfully, no charges were pressed. And I sat around for 2 years after that, not really knowing. I consulted a bit, I was breeding American bulldogs, which is not a good example of entrepreneurial stuff to get into. Like,
Yeah.
if you're listening here thinking you're gonna get rich off breeding dogs, stop, stop. So my mom and one of my friends said, "Hey, you should become a realtor." And I said, "F that."
Why?
I just didn't want to deal with it, right? Like I didn't want to do that. And I didn't know what I wanted to do. But circumstance just resulted in me becoming a realtor. That first year, I was number one, like rookie of the year for the brand on the West Coast, which was probably a couple thousand agents. Started a real estate team because I love owning a business. And 6 years later, 5 years later, we were the number one friggin' team in the state of California, setting records, most homes sold in a year by a team.
How
Most
many homes did
volume.
you sell that year?
Dude, I forget. It was a lot.
And it would have to be. I mean, the state of California, we're talking about
Bro, we
what
did over, and this is the number that no one can touch still. We did over $1 billion in volume
you sold 1 billion with the B in houses in 1 year.
in 1 year.
That's
No
amazing.
one can say that shit, dude.
Yeah. Well,
Right?
yeah. I mean, God, that's like that. You had a direct impact on the global economy, if you really think about it. Like,
Really? Yeah.
especially because homes, they're the number one catalytic event for all other expenditures. When somebody buys a home, they buy a new car, usually within 18 months. They buy furniture.
There's like
They change
72
schools.
other companies that get paid when
That's right.
when somebody, maybe it's 35, but maybe it's 72. That maybe it's 100, but that is a big part of our GDP for sure.
Yeah, $1 billion in units. So let me ask you this. Somebody's listening. The thing that's interesting about you is, and because we've had some conversations poolside with some tequila. Never go drinking with Suneet, by the way. He makes horrible
Never just drinking
decisions.
with Kasim.
Oh my God, are you kidding me? That was your fault. There's a story that if I had a long form podcast, we would dig into this right now. But just for the record, dude, you didn't come from money. You didn't have like crazy connections. You're just a college kid who like started throwing his hat in rings, and every ring you enter, you dominate.
Yeah, it's really wild.
How? What's the mindset? What's the skill set? Teach the person listening. You're talking to a 22-year-old kid full of piss and vinegar, but has nothing else. What do they do?
Well, I mean, right? Like with the cannabis, I was really trying to do something that was innovative because it was, especially our approach in 2007. And I just really wanted to make money. And I really wanted to just talking about don't ever go drinking with me, especially back then, because I just wanted to be able to have bottle service and go to Vegas and do whatever the hell I wanted. Right. So like that was the driving force through cannabis and through my early years as a realtor too. Like when I became a realtor, I was living a very simple life. I was a single guy living in a $1,200 a month rental piece of shit house. And I just wanted to be able to afford my bills and to be able to eat and be able to, afford going out. And it turned into something else. In that moment, like I don't remember, I wasn't on a huge self-development journey and personal development journey at that time. However, about 2 years into my real estate business, I really got into that.
How old are you when this happens? 2 years into real estate is what age for Suneet?
39,
Okay. How old are you now?
48.
Dude, I thought you were my age.
You know I'm older than you, bro.
No, I thought we were the same age. I'm 40 for the listener. You
Yeah.
look great.
Yeah, I just dyed my hair.
Did you?
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah. All right. So you've got a decade into this, like really, because dude, I mean, you're super fit, you're ripped. Every time we're at an event together, you're working out. So keep going though. You dive
Yeah,
into
so I
self
mean,
development.
I was never into like directly into personal development. There was some Tony Robbins and some listening to tapes. And my father, probably like many fathers in the 80s, were really into the self development. Zig Ziglar,
Yeah,
Jim Rohn, Tony Robbins, and a little bit, Napoleon Hill. My dad gave me Think and Grow Rich when I was 12. And I
sure.
remember getting that book and saying, well, this is boring as shit to read. I'm just going to go to the last page. And I never read the middle until probably 10 years back, right?
Mm.
8 years back.
Did you
But
know in that book he talks about not masturbating? That's no,
does
that's
he?
what sex yeah, that's so well, here's the thing is a lot of people don't realize it because it's so veiled, but he talks about sex transmutation. He's got his 13 laws or whatever it is, 11 or
Yeah,
13, I
yeah.
forget which. Sex transmutation, if you dig a little bit deeper into Napoleon Hill's theories and opinions about things, especially his private conversations, what he's really saying is because in the book, all he says is put your sexual energy into work. But what he
Yeah.
would tell people is don't jerk off. Which is interesting because it's an I mean, there's a no FAP movement now, and a lot of
Yes,
people have kind of
totally.
picked that up and run. But it was a very salacious thing to say for the time, which is why he had to veil it. But I always thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I even have, like, the 12-hour recording of Napoleon Hill, and I never picked that up. That's a hard thing to listen to, 12
Yeah,
hours of
he's not an
Napoleon.
interesting orator.
No, and he has a thick, like, Kentucky accent.
Yeah, yeah, he sounds like an old school like baseball announcer.
He
It's
does, dude.
yeah.
He does. But, then, like, the self-development is really big in some real estate circles, which makes sense because it's hard. It's entrepreneurship. You need to have a mindset to get that delayed gratification of the whole process.
Mm.
And we turned that into a consulting and coaching program, which is doing very well, and other businesses.
Well, stop being humble, dude. I mean, let's talk about this for a minute. You're the number one real estate coach
I
that
mean,
I know.
my business partner and mentor definitely is, and by proxy, I can say a little bit of that, but I'm not gonna own that I am the number one real estate
Well,
coach.
okay, let me put it differently, because he's a little more traditional, at least the way that I understand from a marketing perspective. You're definitely the top on social.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, come on, dude. That's, to be the number one in the most important media forum that exists. And the thing that I know about you that I see constantly, 2 compliments I'll pay you, and for our listeners, you do such a phenomenal job of focus. Focus, focus, focus. Because we go to a driven event, you learn some shit, and instead of getting shiny object, you're like, how do I bring this back to what I do? How do I bring this back to my core business? So focus. And 2, which is a kissing cousin to focus, is bro, you are obsessive. Like if you're gonna go learn Instagram, you're playing with it 50, 100 times a day. Like and
Yeah.
the way you do things, it's so admirable, bro. Because you talk to me about your fear of failure, because to me, from the outside looking in, it looks like you don't care. You try 500 different things, and some hit and some doesn't, but it doesn't seem to impact you really.
Yeah, I mean, I've been thinking about fear of failure a lot lately because I think it's good. Like, you
Yeah.
should be fucking afraid of being cracked always. When I got raided by the federal government, I was on top of my game, 1000%, right? And I got cracked, and it definitely caused me some kind of depression or something. I sat around for 2 years afterwards. You think I'm fit now? I was ripped back then. All I did was work out and try to breed dogs, right?
Dude, even that, most people would sit around eating Cheetos getting fat. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
no,
so
I got
even your
ripped.
depression is productive.
Yes, I got totally ripped, and, but, like, fear of failure, I think it's healthy. So
Mm.
if you're not afraid of losing everything every day, like, you're not trying hard enough.
Wow. That's a writer downer right there.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, you need to find the fear and then lean into it.
Yeah, like, I remember having nothing and trying to be a realtor, and since I was in shape after being raided, I didn't even have any freaking clothes that fit, dude. I didn't have internet. I would go sit in the Starbucks parking lot with my laptop and try and do stuff on the MLS. No banks would work with me because of the federal government stuff and cannabis's bank's view on cannabis. So I would take my commission checks over to the damn Walmart,
Serious.
right?
You're
Like,
paying the 6% or whatever they charge
yeah,
for the
just
check
getting that
cashing?
money put, like, on a little card so I could pay my bills
That's so funny,
on a
man.
prepaid card.
And in the first year, you were
I
MVP. What do you call Rookie of the
I
Year?
was rookie of the year for Coldwell Banker on the West Coast, which is big,
It's huge.
huge, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we talked about the failure. We talked about your focus. if you were like in your coaching as you're talking to these young bucks coming up, and honestly, it might not be young bucks because here's the thing we're seeing in the economy right now is we're seeing graybeards that have to reinvent themselves.
Bro, I've reinvented myself so
Yeah.
many times.
So what do you do there? If you're like, you're 40 years old, an industry that just got basically toppled, which is, I think, 30% of the productive economy right now, and you have to learn a brand new thing. I mean, you're starting from zero. What advice do you have for those folks?
Yeah, like, dude, education, especially
Mm,
now, it's so much easy. Like, I would hang out in Facebook groups full of realtors and just harass the people with DMs who were posting the most. And that became kind of my first foray into coaching and mentorship in the real estate space. And it really paid off, right? Like something that I know you say about me and many people say about me is I'm really good at making friends with people.
yeah.
Right? And, maybe it's, the Cialdini's thing about being likable.
Well, I think you're naturally likable, but I don't think that that's what it is. You know what it is, dude, is you're genuinely kind. Like I've seen you just chop up folks that can do nothing for you. They have no, you know what I mean? Like especially in our world, it's kind of icky. Like there's a lot of ladder climbing. It's a lot of like posturing, and you're just a genuine human, dude. And there's something about that that really comes across, and I imagine pays off.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it does. I always think it's the Cialdini things of being likable, but what you said too, maybe, I mean,
Yeah,
bro.
no, I think that's it. That's half of it. But I think that there needs to be a reciprocity in a relationship because I've had those relationships where I've really liked somebody and they haven't liked me back. You know what I mean? And that there's something about that there's actually one person in particular. I'll tell you his name after we're done recording.
Okay, cool.
Dude, I was obsessed with this guy for the longest time. He was like he actually kind of coaxed me into this space. It's a really, really brilliant person. He's so on stage, he's so like likable.
Sure.
And I tried to model my entire life after him. And then when I got into his circle and I joined his groups and started going to his events, like, he just could not get away from me fast enough. And there was something about that like just felt so, I don't know. I didn't need him to be my friend, but I wanted a little bit back. And he just didn't have that. He didn't have time for me. And I've seen
Yes.
you make time for a lot of people.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. I mean, I think inside of the driven mastermind, it's really a cool environment because sometimes I can be somewhat of an outsider as not being directly like almost agency type work, right?
Yeah.
Because there was a big faction of that inside of driven, I would say.
Dude, agencies are burning alive right now. Like 10% of them are doing better than they'll ever do or have ever done. And 90% of them are shutting doors. It's over.
Because of client acquisition.
It's everything. It's the perfect storm. There's obviously the AI meteor that just hit the earth, which is replacing so much agency work. But there's
So much.
also the agency model was built around the idea that specializing in the service was the biggest lever mover. And what's happening now is as we're getting better and better at each endeavor, businesses are realizing I don't need somebody who's specialized in the service. I need somebody who's specialized in my business.
Mm.
Because the service, it used to be the service was the hard part and the business was the easy part. And that slowly flipped to where the services, as they mature, get easier and easier and easier. It's easy to run Facebook ads now. It wasn't 3 years
Well,
ago. It's
dude,
easy to
let
run
me
Google
give
ads.
you an example. So I'll give
Yes.
myself a solid like B or C plus on my knowledge of running ads on Meta. So I'd hired agencies, hired some of our friends to try and work stuff for my consulting, and the results never happened. So I was flying out to my mentor's house out there in Mississippi, and I'm on my phone and I have internet on American Airlines. And I start talking to Chat GPT about the problems I'm having with my ads. So I write out a whole SOP on a flight and I give it to a Filipino VA and say, do this ad campaign. Bro, Costum, I'm booking calls with qualified leads for under $25
Shit.
from some
Consistently.
friggin' funnel I made with Chat GPT.
Yeah. But
High
it's because
ticket
you know your
offer.
business so well.
Right? It's crazy. Like this ad campaign is crushing.
That's amazing. How much of it are you willing to tell us about? Like what's the ad? What's the offer? What are you doing that's working so
I
well?
mean, it's for my consulting program, the Reside platform, and it's a very high ticket sale, right? Because it's a full on consulting where we do so much for these team leaders. It's exactly what I wish existed when I started and put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into it. A lot. And the ad campaign is, I mean, I always pull from Frank Kern. I'm a Frank Kern fan,
Yeah.
and mass conversion is like my favorite ad course ever. Have you ever done mass conversion?
No, I know of it, but I think I own it somewhere.
I'm sure you do. I'm sure
Yeah,
all of us have bought it for like $1 once upon a
right.
time.
Yeah, well, he bundles it with everything he sells now. He just throws the shit in.
Now you just get everything,
Do
right?
you?
Yes. So
Yeah. Frank has announced his retirement so many freaking times though, dude.
I'm in his school group right now, and it's really cool because I've been using his AI tool and I love it. But so the ad campaign, and then dude, check. So I always film testimonials from all my clients. I think is the most powerful thing inside of marketing, like hands down. And I have these ads going. It's not even necessarily a lead gen. It's an awareness campaign with a link, and people are booking calls for under $25.
So you're using testimonial videos as your ads.
Yes.
That's so smart, dude. So at Solutions 8, we spent $250,000 a month in YouTube. A month on our own YouTube, not our clients. We spent $100 million a year in client
On your own. Wow.
just for Solutions 8, and our highest performing ads ever were client testimonials. They were video case stories. Shout out to Ian Garlic. He came in, he interviewed my clients, he went through this whole process. He has kind of the Socratic like level of questions. It really draws it out of him. He throws the videos for you. You get the long form 5-10 minute video, but then you get the short like 30, 60, 90 seconds. And I just started running those as remarketing and they crushed. And then so John Moran, my business partner, was like, let's try running these as our main ads. And we did the same thing you did. No CTA. It was just somebody talking about how great we were, and that was our highest performing ad. And dude,
Yeah.
as you can imagine, we tested thousands of them.
I mean, bro, I took Perry, and I think Perry got this from Dan Kennedy.
Everybody in the history of marketing got everything from Dan. If you go far enough back, he's Abraham. You know what I mean? Like he's the original. He's the progenitor of all
I
marketing.
mean, Gary Halbert and
I don't
David
know. I don't,
Ogilvy.
yeah, that's now you're going. You get that you are older than me. You're right. Because Dan,
Yes, yes. But like Perry shared his 4-question testimonial framework that I believe he got from Dan, and if not, one of them got it, right?
do you
Both are the
remember it? Can you
OGs.
remind the listener what it is? Because it's good.
Yeah, shit, I have it written down. What problems were you having when you reached out to us? What had you tried so far? What's the thing how have we helped since?
Mhm.
And this is the best question. What are you most excited about working with us in the future? Because
Such
that's
a
where
retention play.
yes. So that's where that content comes out, dude. And those ads, anyone listening, if you get one piece of advice from this, like shoot more I don't give a shit what business you're in. Testimonials, once again, going to Cialdini, social proof, right? Like I quoted Cialdini twice on this one episode. Like social proof, people when you go to Amazon to buy a friggin' cell phone case, you're looking at the reviews.
Yeah.
When you order a taco on DoorDash from a new taqueria, you're looking at the reviews. So it's really a big, big play. I haven't done anything with influencer marketing because I kind of am the influencer in my space anyways.
Mm.
However, I think testimonials are huge, dude. Because you're also just getting, instead of you building your own authority, the authority is coming from a third party.
You know what pisses me off, dude? I've got Pareto, my other company. I have all these testimonial videos. I know this to be true. I did it at Solutions 8. We haven't run them as ads. I'm such an idiot.
Bro, you are missing out.
I know. We're running a bunch of other bullshit that doesn't mean anything. So
You should
stupid.
copy my ad campaign because it's booking calls for under $25.
I would 100% do that.
When
How
have you
do I?
heard some shit like that for a high ticket offer? Booking
Never.
calls for me neither.
Not in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
and
was
they're
expecting
closing qualified leads. They're actually closing. They're doing the thing.
So, being that this is a longer process, that's only been going on for about 5 weeks. So we have a lot of people getting really close. It's not a one call close. It just
No, of course not.
it's too much. But for me, most of our growth on my coaching and consulting, to what you said earlier, is through organic social, mostly Meta. Mostly just regular old Facebook.
Facebook. Dude, Facebook's making a really weird comeback that I didn't see coming.
It's so good, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really potent. A lot of people came back. I think when Zuckerberg took the woke lid off, I don't know if that was the inflection point, but that's what it feels like anecdotally. Like all of a sudden Facebook kind of like made a resurgence.
I think as soon as they took out like so much of this like fake news too.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
now when I go onto my personal profile, I'm not seeing shit that you're questioning everything, right? And I don't see so many polarizing views.
Yeah. It's, you know what? It's a little more echo chambery in that I only see what I want to see.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the algorithm's always changing, right?
Right. Yeah. Which is also a little dangerous too. That's really
Well, yeah, I
interesting.
mean, it's totally dangerous. Use Facebook to grow your email list. Like, that's it.
Yeah, get them out of Facebook as fast as you can.
Yeah.
Man, you dropped some bombs. So using testimonial videos as ads, freaking brilliant. Facebook being making a resurgence, absolutely genius. If you're not following Cindy on social, by the way, please do. Even if you're not interested at all in real estate, it's a master class in social media marketing. The
Yeah,
things
brand
that you
building.
do, yeah, brand building. Because it's funny, man. The rest of us are a year or two behind the core thought leaders. The reason you're a thought leader is because you're 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks ahead. You're testing new shit and coming up with new
Every day.
formats and yeah, I know that about you. Like, this is kind of what you obsess over.
Yeah, and, I'll get an idea, once again, talking about Frank Kern. Frank Kern said, "Start posting small business stories on social." What a great idea! Because
Yeah.
now it's not like you're having to create content, it's almost like you're reporting on a story that is relevant to what you're trying to do. Like, I talk about entrepreneurs who get big wins through social media, right? And I share that, and it just builds more of an authority, something I learned a month ago, and I've been posting one every other day.
Dude, I love that. This is great. I also, I bought my kids. I was thinking through just the landscape that they're looking at as they get older,
Yeah, which is
and I'm like,
they may
what's
never
left
drive a car.
vocationally? Dude, yeah. Well, that's something I'm gonna go buy Homestead. But from a vocational perspective, the only 2 skills I can see any value in long term, one, obviously learning AI, but even that has an event horizon because AI is gonna get so easy you don't have to learn how to use it, right? It's gonna
Yes.
intuit or yeah. But 2 is authority building, building a brand. Because people are still, I think, at least for the next generation or 2, they're still gonna want a human to guide them and tell them this is the thing to do, this is how to do it, this is what AI works, this is what doesn't. And so I bought them little Chromebooks and I told them the only thing you're allowed to do with this is learn AI and then shoot YouTube videos teaching other kids how to use AI because I want them to get good at that muscle.
I had my 5-year-old on the weekend sit in front of my computer for dude, she would not get off. And she was just talking to Chat GPT, dude, for
Yeah.
like 2 hours, and then she goes and tells her mom, my wife, "I have a new BFF, it's Chat GPT," and we're all, "No, no, 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 no. It's
There's
not
some
your new
yeah.
BFF. It's a fun toy."
Well, the thing that I was actually a little ashamed of myself because my youngest was talking to ChatGPT, and I forget what it was, assume just a relatively accessible topic like, gosh, how houses sell? What's the process of selling a
Sure.
house? And he talked to me about it first, and then at a certain point, I kind of fatigued of the conversation, so I handed him ChatGPT, and he talked to ChatGPT, and the same questions he asked me, he was asking ChatGPT, but ChatGPT was so much more patient with him
Yes.
and it took its time and it really dug in and I'm like, "God, ChatGPT is a better dad than I am."
Yes.
And he really you could tell when the pressure was taken off because even if I don't mean for it to be, there's kind of an unspoken like, "All right, let's get to the point here." And so I think that really hurts their ability to learn, but when they're talking to this trillion-dollar supercomputer that knows everything and is willing to answer any question for as long as they wanna sit there and talk to it, like,
Yeah.
there's something about that that's really valuable.
Dude, I remember so my father was an engineer and a bunch of engineers in my family, and my mom is a professor. So there were always computers in my house as a kid. And I remember there was a computer in the one room, and I would go in there and I tried working it. I'm talking maybe 4 or 5 years old myself. Tried working it like Chat GPT now, like talking to
Yeah,
it. Of course, it was all DOS, so it didn't do shit.
yeah,
To see that full circle, now my youngest, the same age as when I was like I remember writing a paper in whatever computer it was back in the day and holding down the shift button the whole time to make sure every letter was capitalized, finding out months later that,
caps lock.
yeah, caps lock,
Yeah.
right? Something crazy about me is I still use and I have a bachelor's in management information systems. I still use a mouse upside down because I taught myself back in the day, dude.
That's so funny. I don't even know how you do that. You have to show
Yeah,
me that
me
next
neither.
time.
I don't know how anyone uses the mouse the right way up.
Yeah, I use the trackpad now. That's all
Me
I've got.
too.
I don't have
Yeah,
yeah,
same exact one, yeah.
yeah, look at that. What am I not asking you? We've got a couple minutes left. What am I not asking you that I should be asking you? What would a smarter person ask you?
Well, you're one of my smartest friends. Well, I mean, I think that the entrepreneurial landscape for many can be I mean, look, you have a job and you're programmed from childhood through our education system to jump through the hoops and do the job, and there will be a reward once upon the time, right? Any job that I ever had, I was not satisfied. When
Mm,
I started my real estate team, it's because I didn't find a real estate team that I would join. When I started my dispensary, is because I didn't find a dispensary that I liked, right? And for entrepreneurs out there who are thinking about getting away from the 9 to 5 or want to get into business, it's important to like what worked for me is just burn the boats and go all in,
yeah.
right? I think that people don't make this they don't understand the sacrifices necessary to get. Like, lots of late nights for you and I both, right? Lots of thinking, lots of money spent traveling and going and talking to people. Lots of time and money also spent at events, right? And the education part and the resilience part, like you just got to get it. Because otherwise, you're going to be stuck in that 9 to 5 grind. Also, just when you start your own business, the 9 to 5 grind is over, but now it's the 24/7 grind.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah,
Be
it's
ready
the
for those
5 to
sacrifices, but
11.
the sacrifices have been worth it. Um, and as we go further into new opportunities and, I launched a new company, which I built the whole infrastructure in a chat GPT project, which is also amazing, right? That company will do $1 million its first year. There's just with the tools we have through organic social media and the shortened time frame to produce everything, like we're in an AI gold rush, bro. We're in a personal brand gold rush right now.
Mhm.
And you can exacerbate it by more organic social and more freaking emails.
Yeah, we've got all the tools we need to make ourselves micro famous in any niche.
Yeah,
Where
and
can people find you if they wanna follow you?
so my website is suneetagarwal.com and just go to Facebook. My personal Facebook, Suneet Agarwal, Suneet_Agarwal from my Instagram. Drop in, send me a message. I got a bunch of great advice for entrepreneurs and agency owners and real estate pros and just any kind of small business. Like I love the small business thing. Maybe that's a cultural thing.
Yeah, I bet you it is.
The old shopkeeper. I am Indian. It's the Indian
Yeah.
shopkeeper.
I'll bet you. Well, there's something about it have you ever heard Nassim Nicholas Taleb talk about entrepreneurs? He's got the greatest dissertation or monologue or whatever you want to call it on entrepreneurism, and he talks about how entrepreneurs save the world and how we're the least celebrated, most sacrificed people in any society. But it's us that moves everything forward and moves the needle, and anyway.
Yeah. We create the income and create the jobs.
Yeah, well, and we solve all the problems and we take all the risk and it usually doesn't pay off statistically speaking. Entrepreneurship generally, you're an anomaly, adjusted for margin of error, you don't exist because entrepreneurship usually fails. So to have somebody who doesn't just succeed once but succeeds over and over and over again in diverse industries, you're amazing, dude. I really love you. I'm so grateful to you for coming here and giving us your
Hell
time.
yeah.
What an incredible conversation. This is Suneet Agarwal. Agarwal is spelled Agarwal. Go check out his social. He's a man who proves that resilience and consistency can take you from the edge of failure to the heights of success again and again. Suneet, thank you for sharing your story of reinvention, leadership, and unshakable drive. From building one of California's top real estate teams to coaching agents across the nation, your journey is a masterclass in perseverance and vision. For those listening, don't forget to connect with him online, dive into his content, and learn directly from his experience. And as always, we encourage you to share this episode with your community. You can like, you can comment, you can give us reviews. That's all great. But the thing that really helps the word spread is when you share. This is World's Greatest Minds, where resilience meets brilliance. And today, Suneet truly is one of the world's greatest minds, reminding us that no setback is final when consistency is your superpower. Thank you, brother. You've just heard another powerful episode on World's Greatest Minds. For links, resources, and full show notes from this episode, go to worldsgreatestminds.com, where you can also subscribe so you never miss another episode. Drop us a review because your feedback fuels the mission, and share this with somebody who's willing to buck the status quo. Most importantly, tell us who you think we should interview next. Nominate the people who you believe have the results, the track record, and the brilliance to truly qualify as one of the world's greatest minds. Join us weekly as we forge innovation in real time. This is World's Greatest Mind. The revolution of thought continues with you.